Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the video I'm going to be making on the 2014 NBA free agency. This is one of the hottest crops of free agents that I've seen in a long time, almost in any sports. You know, some of the biggest names in basketball with Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James being out there. LeBron James sort of being like the Michael Jordan of today. Well, I don't even know why I said sort of like, but you know, there wasn't many times when there was thoughts of Michael Jordan leaving the Chicago Bulls back in the day. I remember one time a story came out. It was years after he had signed. It was mostly I think it came out in a book, or maybe it came out in a newspaper article, where the New York Knicks almost landed Jordan in free agency, and I remember a big part of the deal wasn't the NBA money that was going to be in the deal, but it was also sort of like a modeling contract for Jordan to be doing modeling over in Italy, and that was going to be a big chunk of change. But he ended up staying in Chicago, winning those championships, and I know we like to forget about those Washington years, but ended his career in the right way in Chicago, holding those 6 trophies and just showing how great he was. Free agency to me is sort of a weird topic. I hate free agency. I hate the way that sports are today. There's basically no team sort of unity anymore. It's almost like teams, the players on teams don't really have a feeling to that team unless they're getting a check for them. I remember back in the day, it was basically, you know, you had your team and you were stuck with them. You made, you know, some moves every once in a while. You made a trade here or there, but now it's hard to even keep track of, you know, who's on your team unless you really put another, you know, 40-hour work week in to figure out what's going on with all these free agency moves. There's so many times that, you know, training camp comes and I got to learn a whole new crop of teams' names. I just remember back in the day when there was real sports rivalries out there, and it just basically wasn't the fans wanting to fight each other, but it was also the players were proud of who they played for. A story that I just want to bring up real fast before we get down to business was that, you know, Jackie Robinson retired from baseball because he was traded from the Dodgers to the Giants, and he thought because of the rivalry between the Giants and the Dodgers, there was no reason why he should go play there if he, you know, hated those guys for so many years. It just wasn't worth it for him to basically sell his soul and go over there and play for them. So he actually just retired from baseball and went home. I wish there was more people out there like that today, because it just, I don't know. I love my 49ers. I love my Kings. I love my Braves. But I don't really know that the players that are on that team, playing on that field or on that court that night, love them as much as I love them out there. And just like, it's good when you win, but it's almost like you're rooting for your coaches and your GMs more than you're rooting for your players sometimes. But shit, I talked about that for way too long. But it just seems like, you know, there's all this talk about Carmelo Anthony and where he's gonna go. Honestly, in my mind, I think that he's gonna land back with the Knicks. I know that it would be great if he did go to Chicago. Chicago's a team that I've been rooting for to get back on track. You know, with Derrick Rose having his injuries, and if you go back in time to when we really thought Chicago was getting back on track in the Jason Williams motorcycle accident, they've gone through some pitfalls, and you know, I would like to see Chicago get picked back up. They've had some good teams over the last few years, but just haven't been able to get it done, and a player like Carmelo Anthony is supposed to get him over the top. Carmelo Anthony going to the Lakers, honestly, as a Kings fan, I hate it. I mean, I loved it that we got more wins than the Lakers last year, even though the Lakers were so bad and we were only, you know, just a game or two better. You know, even though we were both lottery teams, even though we both sucked a lot, it was great to say that we had more wins than the Lakers for the first time in a long time. Carmelo Anthony going and playing with Kobe Bryant, to me, honestly, I mean, at least Kobe's on board. I mean, for so many times in LA, we've seen, you know, LA make moves trying to make that team better for Kobe and for them, and he only just really backtalks them and says that he doesn't really see what they're doing, and he's not on board with the changes that they've made. For him to fly back from a vacation from Greece in order to meet with Carmelo Anthony and you know, try and put him over the top to sign with LA, it shows you that Kobe's on board and he really wants to win. And I think he has to be embarrassed over the last year. And then what's going on over there in Miami, to me, honestly, really doesn't make any sense. It's almost to the point where, you know, I feel like with, you know, everybody saying that the Miami Heat is like the NWO of wrestling with Hogan, Hall, and Nash, you know, I almost feel like, you know, LeBron James is almost playing the heel here, knowing that, people like him or they hate him. And, they're going to go along with whatever they want to do. And I think that he's almost trolling all of sports right now, making it seem like he actually wants to go and play somewhere. I don't see him going to the Knicks. It's been rumored, that I think since day one he walked in the league, that, Cleveland was going to hold on to him for a few years, and then he was going to be wearing a Knicks jersey. I don't think there's anything for him to offer to play there. Miami, to me, honestly, is the best place for him, keeping together the big three with Bosh and Wade. You can see that, so many times, what people have said about the Heat is that they don't have depth on that team. But the one thing they can't say is that team is not good. 4 years together, 4 NBA Finals, 2 NBA Finals wins. This year in the Finals didn't go that great, but who's to say this team isn't going to be good again? You can see that almost the whole team is free agencies. Almost they have a chance to lose everyone on the team, except for they have 2 guys under contract. Norris Cole and Justin Hamilton. But the one thing you can see that if these guys stick together is that people will go there and they will play for a whole lot less money because they want to win and they want to win championships. They want to be a part of this team that everyone's going to remember forever. Ray Allen has been a big piece of this team for the last years. You can say that Udonis Haslem it definitely could be making more money almost anywhere in the NBA. When he was a free agent, he took a way less of a deal in order to stay there, and I can see other guys going there. Vince Carter, one of the guys that I don't think Vince Carter is what Vince Carter was, and I don't think anybody does, honestly. I don't think anybody really believes the hype in that name, and honestly, when the Mavericks won the NBA championship and in the free agency market last year, or in that year, it's been a few years, they went out and they added Carter to their team, and I just knew right away with that Carter deal they weren't going to be adding another one. Why LeBron James wants to be the number 1 paid player on his team, I think that's a level of respect that he honestly deserves, but I honestly don't think he's gonna need it. He's gonna get a big check from the Heat from no matter what he signs for and what he plays for. The deal that he can take, and also Wade and Bosh can take. They all 3 of these guys have a ton of money. They've got enough money for them and their kids, and I think they can have they got a ton of money, tons and tons of money, and who's to say that they don't need more? But it just seems that if they would take a deal that was team friendly, they would be able to go out and add more depth to this team. There's no way that you can say that you can say that they had an off year, but that doesn't really make sense when you reach the NBA Finals. That means you weren't the number 1 team in the NBA, but you were the number 2 team, and that sucks because you don't get to bring home the trophy. You don't get to raise up the banner to the top of the shit. I went there for Monday Night Raw, but I can't remember what the hell the name of that arena was. You don't get to hang the banner up there, but you have that fire up in your soul that you want to win next year. You were there, and you don't want to let it slip. So many times in sports, you see guys like Dan Marino. They worked their whole life of achieving a dream that they had once of reaching, a Super Bowl or a Finals or a World Series, and you never get to see it come back. And you're going to give everything, you can in order to make it. And, I just think that Wade deserves to be the highest paid player in the league. I think he is the best player in the league. But this guy is going to be getting checks for the rest of his life. Look at Michael Jordan and the job he has with Nike, and I'm sure he still gets some money from Gatorade and Upper Deck and 1,000 other companies out there along the way. Plus, on top of that, he's a high-ranking official in the, I guess I was going to say Bobcats organization, but I guess they're the Hornets organization now. So, I don't see LeBron James being out of basketball unless he wants to be out of basketball. I don't see LeBron James walking away from sponsorships unless he wants to walk away from sponsorships. He's a guy that has earned to be in the limelight for the rest of his career, for the rest of his life. And I think the world is his oyster, and he's going to be signing checks for the rest of his life. The money that he makes in 2014 and on almost is pointless, because I think that he already has enough money to live on. I'm not saying that he should go out there and play for free, like Ron Artest once mentioned that he would do for the Sacramento Kings, that they re-signed Rick Adelman to be the coach of the team. I'm just saying that, if he was able to take a little bit less of a deal, stay in Miami, even though I hate the Heat, it just would make sense that you're gonna win more NBA Finals. You're gonna win some more trophies. You're gonna put some more hardware on the wall. And I know a lot of people say that he's sort of all wrapped up in being the best basketball player in all time, and you can't say that you've done that until you have more trophies than Jordan or more finals than Bill Russell. And I just think this is the best spot for him to be in Miami, and staying there makes more sense. I know that people are going to be weirded out by this because of the LeBron James worthless piece of trash videos. Honestly, the first one I was real fired up that he left Cleveland, but I don't see him going back to Cleveland. I think it's good that Cleveland was able to re-sign Irving for their max deal and keep him in Cleveland for a long time. But I think everybody knows that Cleveland needs a lot more help than that. I haven't even really seen LeBron on their radar, so they're gonna have to rebuild that up and keep on picking up #1 picks in the draft. Makes that roster better, but it doesn't seem like it's making that team better. So best of luck to them, and peace out, everybody.